The amateur believes he must first overcome his fear, then he can do his work. The professional knows that fear can never be overcome. Replace the word fear with laziness or lack of motivation, and you hit the exact wall we are talking about today. We've all been there. You set an alarm for 5:30 a.m. The alarm goes off, it's freezing outside your blanket, and your brain instantly turns into a high-priced defense attorney. It gives you 12 airtight reasons why sleeping in is actually better for your health. And 90% of the time, we let that attorney win because we are waiting to feel disciplined. Today, we're talking about how to force yourself into action when that feeling completely deserts you. We're breaking down a 3-step blueprint to build aggressive, reliable self-discipline based on behavioral psychology. Let's look at the first shift. If you have to force yourself to be disciplined every single second of the day, you are going to exhaust your brain. There's a concept in psychology called decision fatigue. Your willpower is a finite resource. If you spend it all deciding whether to do a task, you won't have any left to actually do it. The secret isn't having more willpower, it's designing an environment where discipline is the path of least resistance. Author James Clear talks about this extensively in Atomic Habits. He calls it priming your environment. If you want to force yourself to work out in the morning, do not wake up and look for your shoes. Put your shoes, your shorts, and your headphones right next to your bed the night before. If you want to stop checking your phone while writing, don't just promise you won't look at it. Put the phone in a completely different room. You aren't forcing your mind, you're manipulating your environment, so your mind doesn't have a choice to argue. Now, what happens when you're standing at the edge of the task and you just really don't want to do it? This is where Mel Robbins' famous concept from the 5-second rule comes into play. The moment you feel an impulse to act on a goal like getting out of bed, opening your laptop, or hitting the gym, you must count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. It sounds incredibly simple, almost silly, but neurochemically, what you're doing is interrupting your brain's natural hesitation loop. Your brain is wired to protect you from things that are uncomfortable or stressful. By counting backward, you shift control from your emotional brain to your rational brain. And here is the absolute golden rule of behavioral science that every major performance coach agrees on. Action precedes motivation. Amateurs wait until they feel motivated to act. Professionals act and let the momentum generate the motivation. Once your fingers are on the keyboard for 5 minutes, the resistance melts away. The hardest part is almost always just crossing the starting line. The biggest mistake people make when trying to force discipline is going too hard and too fast. They go from 0 minutes of reading to trying to read 2 hours a day. They go from no exercise to a brutal 6-day-a-week regime. In his book, Mini Habits, Stephen Geist talks about a concept that saved my personal routine: making your daily goal too small to fail. If you want to build a writing discipline, force yourself to write 1 sentence a day. If you want to build a gym discipline, force yourself to do 1 push-up a day. Why? Because human beings are terrified of breaking streaks. If your goal is 1 push-up, you will do it even on your worst, most exhausted day. But guess what happens once you're down on the floor doing that 1 push-up? You usually end up doing 10 or 20. Discipline is a muscle. You don't walk into a gym and try to bench press 300 pounds on day 1. You start small, lock in the habit of showing up, and build weight over time. To wrap this up today, I want you to stop looking at discipline as a personality trait. It isn't something people are born with. It is simply a practice of honoring the promises you make to yourself. Next time you hear that voice telling you to negotiate, count down from 5, change your physical environment, and just give whatever you're avoiding 5 minutes of messy, imperfect action. Stop waiting to feel like it. Be the professional. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button, leave us a review, and go take action on that one thing you've been putting off all week. See you next time.